promised you an update on this saga, and here it is. Regular viewers, subscribers to my channel may recall that about 6 weeks ago, I did a video on a friend of mine who is a personal trainer who was having a white collar boxing fight and really thought he had some potential for a future in the sport. That video got some good feedback, was relatively positively received, and I'm pleased to do a follow-up. I actually attended the white collar boxing fight on Friday, and I'm anxious to let people know the full details because it's a dramatic story from my perspective at any rate. To give you a bit of background, I was loose friends with this guy. We not best mates, but quite matey. We knew each other from the gym. He asked me to help him out ahead of his fight. We did a little bit of sparring together, and then he asked me if I would train him. He asked me if I would corner with him, corner for him even. Following on from that video, I spoke to 2 or 3 members of the boxing community I know, had a bit of advice, and essentially they were all quite consistent in their advice. And these were people whose opinions I respect and value. They were all kind of telling me, look, you're not a boxing trainer. You don't have experience being a boxing trainer. You don't have experience being a boxing cornerman. You're not really in the right place and in the right position to give someone advice on preparing for a fight. Boxing's a dangerous sport, even at the white collar level, especially in the heavyweight division. And in case someone gets hurt, things go wrong, people get injured, it's probably best that you don't associate yourself with this event, be that as a trainer, be that as a cornerman, etc. So, following on from that, I went and told this guy, I said, look, fully happy to support you, fully happy to work out with you, fully happy to attend the event as your mate, not going to be a trainer, not going to be a cornerman. My advice is you need to go to your gym, you need to speak to your trainers, you need to speak to more experienced guys than myself in the gym who know a lot more about the sport from a fighting perspective, and get some proper help. So that was the long and the short of it. I essentially rejected his request to sort of train him throughout the process. There was no hard feelings. We got on well ever since. We've kept in touch throughout his preparations, and Friday was fight time. Now it's white collar rules, so it's 3 rounds. Referee, etc. Big gloves, leading up to the fight, my guy was really excited. I mean, speaking frankly with you, he was keen to pursue boxing. He was really keen to pursue boxing. He's seen a lot of improvements in himself, and to be honest, he's a natural athlete. He's in his 30s now, but he's a personal trainer. He's 15, 16 stone. He's very sort of lean. Runs marathons. He's a real physical specimen. My personal opinion, having sparred with him, and you can hear more about that if you watch the initial video, but my personal opinion is, despite the fact that he's an athlete, despite the fact he's a big, strong guy, he maybe isn't the most naturally talented boxer. It's come to him too late. He's not got the experience. He hasn't got the sort of boxing instinct. Whilst he's a capable athlete, I have concerns about him as a capable boxer. But anyway, I digress. So the fight happened on Friday. He was fighting an opponent who was shorter than him, quite stocky, I guess you could say a powerful build, but potentially carrying a bit of timber. Didn't look in as good a condition as my man. And we were sitting ringside. I was pretty nervous for him, to be honest. I was kind of watching the first round like through my hands. Like, I was worried that he was going to get dropped or going to get hurt or something like that. But we were all cheering him on. And from my eyes, this really was quite an interesting fight, because the first round was like an absolute mess. It was a terrible first round from both fighters. The first, to be honest, the first round resembled more of a wrestling match than a boxing fight. The fight was fought at very close range. The guys were leaning all over each other. This other guy was very come forward. My my guy, the personal trainer, was sort of coming forward, and they were both just meeting in the centre of the ring. So inaccurate, really sloppy, sort of punches in sort that were just not doing anything, and it really was like a sort of wrestling match, rugby style scrum rather than anything else. Being critical, I would have scored the first round to the other guy. I thought he was possibly the more aggressive. There were no punches of note at all landed in the first round. Yeah, it was absolute. It was just like two guys running at each other and wrestling. I mean, what was clear at the end of the first round is that neither guy really had great technique, but most relevant was the fact that the other guy, who really wasn't in good shape and was probably a bit older, certainly a bit more overweight, he was gassing. He kind of come in, he tried to steamroll the opponent, and it hadn't worked. So end of the first round, I was kind of saying to my mates, like, we've got to move a bit more here. Come on, like, we're literally just doing nothing here. We're not boxing. We're kind of scrapping, wrestling, etc. So, the second round was equally disappointing, to be honest. Like, we were kind of screaming at our mate, like, come on, you're a big guy, you're a rangy guy, you're an athlete. Try and create a little bit of space between yourself and the other guy. Try and box on the back foot. It's not just about sort of running at the opponent and hitting him from 6 inches away. Try and create a little bit of space. And he was trying, you could see he was trying, but the other guy was just able to kind of put his head in his chest and get in, and he kind of lean on him and throw these hooks from weird angles, and again nothing was landing, but it was a mess of a second round. And to be honest, at the end of the second round, I would probably say we were 2-0 down. We really were. The one thing that was saving, that I thought was saving grace was the other guy was really, really sloppy and really, really tired. And by the end of the second round, he was literally just kind of leaning and holding on. Funnily enough, I thought due to experience and just the fact that I think he'd had a few more white collar fights, he was probably still ahead in the fight, but there was really nothing landed of note. It's just the other guy was probably more aggressive. But anyway, third and final round, unbelievable. I'm still smiling. Basically, like, this other guy was getting so exhausted in the third round. And remember, these are shorter rounds because it's white collar boxing. But finally, our guy was able to just get a little bit of space, create that little bit of range. And he was able to sort of throw a jab and, sat there through 2 rounds. I don't think there was a single jab thrown. So the first jab thrown was in the first few seconds of the third round. And, all the stuff that we'd seen and worked on in the gym, the double jab to the head, jab to the body, jab, switch hands, body hook, it started to come out. And literally, I don't think that my mate had any sort of power to hurt this guy. It's big gloves. The other guy was kind of covering up. He was a bit of a lump. It didn't look, but unbelievably, sort of the other guy kept trying to come forward. He was really, really off balance, and in the third round we were kind of able to just sort of tee off on him a bit. We were able to land a jab, and the third round was a really, really dominant round, for my mate. It really was. I would have said he was 2-1 down. Now, with sort of, must have been 40 seconds to go in the third round. I know these white collar refs are pretty hot on it, but the referee called a fight off. And he did it just because there was a lot of unanswered punches. The guy looked really exhausted. He was very overweight. He was blowing, and he hadn't really thrown anything in the third round whatsoever. And the one thing, although we did very poorly in the first 2 rounds, my guy was very, very fit. He was still there in the third round, and I couldn't believe it. Unbelievable, come from behind knockout Rocky story, and what honestly, I know it's very low level. It's, you know, held in a little gym. You know, we're not talking a glamorous story here. The opponent was terrible, whatever. But sitting ringside, it was you know, great to be there. And yeah, I was genuinely really chuffed for my guy. We were sitting afterwards, and he did come out with you know, he started saying like, you know, he needed the first 2 rounds for experience, and you know, the third and final round like was what he'd been working on, and he felt like next time round he could put the, you know, he could put on the performance that he did in the final round across all 3 rounds, etc. You know, and he's got it in his head that this isn't the end of the road. This is actually just the start of the journey. So there's going to be more fights. He, you know, I'm not just saying this for a cheap laugh, but he is actually considering, you know, wanting to forge a career in the professional ranks, which I think personally would be ill-advised. But obviously he's a fully grown man, and you know, if it's his passion, if it's what he wants it to do, then who can blame him and who can stop him, etc. But you know, really entertaining event. Amazing to be on the winning side. I couldn't possibly have imagined a come from behind knockout on debut. Like, it ticks all the boxes. And I don't know where we go from here, but the story goes on. The guy's gonna keep fighting. He wants to return straight away, and he actually feels like he didn't do himself justice in the first fight. So who knows where it goes from here? You never know who will, you know, where it'll go, and maybe he will have a pro fight one day. Who knows? I mean, this opponent was a heavyweight, but he was a short guy. He didn't have any technique. He was blowing after the first 20 seconds. It didn't represent the biggest test, but nevertheless, to have that experience is only going to help you grow, and who knows. Anyway, I won't ramble on for too much longer because I've been talking for 12 minutes already, but I thought I'd want to complete the story. I hope people don't mind me rambling on about, you know, a fight that nobody's heard of and nobody's interested in. Let me know if you like this video. Let me know if you want me to continue documenting the journey on the channel. And thanks very much. Hope to read your comments. If you've enjoyed this, please give me the thumbs up. And I've got some other videos planned coming up for you very soon, so please do subscribe. I wouldn't want you to miss out on anything we got planned. Thanks a lot, everyone. Cheers.